Thank you so much for being able to interview with me. If you would just please state your name
Annette Hughes,
and where were you born?
Mount Airy, North Carolina, Surrey
And
County.
all right, and how long have you lived here your whole life?
Yep, all 58 years.
So let's dive right into the questions. This is a topic about how technology has developed and how you have lived in the time before we have smart devices and computers and internet and um, like smartphones and stuff like that. So we'll get started. Who's that with you got today?
This is Dobby. This is our pet.
Let's dive right into it. As far as technology goes, what kind of technology would you say that you had growing up?
um, Technology, really just mostly electrical things like a TV. But we only had 3 channels. That's all we got back then. Um, we had a stereo because my dad liked to listen to the race, and at that time they didn't have it on TV. They didn't televise it, so we had this big stereo that was, a floor stereo for him to listen on. So that's basically all the and an AM/FM radio. My mom liked to listen to the obituaries on. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, so back then, like, how would you call somebody if you needed to get in touch with them?
Oh well, now we did have a phone, but it wasn't like it was a house phone, and it was what they called a party phone. So that it's not like a birthday party phone. It's like a where you shared um, the the phone with different people in your neighborhood. So like if I picked up the phone back then and somebody was on the line, then my mom taught me you had to hang up if somebody was on the line because you don't listen in on their conversation. So we shared a phone line with the people on our street. Yeah.
Okay,
And
cool.
then later on, we got a private line.
Okay. That kind of dives into the next question. Did you have like a house phone or something like that? So you did back then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, did some research and there were a good amount of, from what I looked up, a good amount of telephone booths. Um, was that a form of a way that you would call people, like if you had it like downtown or something, or?
Now, I never saw my mom actually use one when I was little, but when I got my license, and if I drove to the next town over to shop or something, Winston-Salem, then if I needed something, I would stop and use one. But I was very hesitant about it, about using a phone booth. But I think I used it maybe 3 times in my whole life.
Okay.
Yeah,
When you did use it, how much did that cost? Like, because now you could just call and it not be
ten
anything.
cents
10 cents a
or a
call?
quarter. Yeah,
Okay.
I can remember using one in the hospital one time when my grandmother was in the hospital and I had to call somebody. Yeah.
Okay. Um, Smartphones can do all sorts of things for us now. In what ways did you um, perform like daily tasks? Like, how did you like know when to get up in the morning? Like, set an alarm like now or something like that.
Well, we didn't use a smartphone because we didn't have them back then,
Mm-hmm.
but we had an alarm clock that you just set the time that you got up. And back then, you had cameras. We didn't have phones,
Mm-hmm.
so you would have to if you want to take a picture. You had to plan ahead of time because
Right.
you need to take your camera or something like that.
Okay.
So
How would you like schedule things out? Because there's like a calendar in your phone, and you have to plan events and stuff like
it's
that.
called a pocket calendar that
Okay.
you carry in your pocketbook.
Yeah.
It's like paper.
Okay. Um.
It wasn't on your phone like Google Notes or Google Calendar. It wasn't like
I
that.
got you.
We didn't have a smartphone.
Right. Um. Nowadays, people order all sorts of stuff online, and like from Amazon or wherever. Um. What What did you use if you wanted to like order something like from far away, or like did you like send it, so like send your request or like a mail, or did you like
Well, back
did,
then we had a Sears catalog,
okay.
and so we ordered. That was actually when you were a kid. That was the main thing. Is you
Okay.
looked at the Sears catalog to see what you wanted for Christmas, And we didn't order stuff that wasn't close by. We bought local. Like if my mom needed a washing machine or a dryer, we just went to the Sears and we just picked it out. We
Okay.
didn't order stuff.
Okay, so ordering wasn't really a
It
thing.
wasn't, you know, you
Like-
didn't order globally or
Okay.
around.
Okay. So like you didn't like take it out of a magazine or nothing like. Okay.
No.
What was your first like personal phone that you had?
Well, I was so excited. My first personal phone was when I had my own phone in my bedroom, and it was white. And I got it when I was a freshman in high school. So yeah, I just thought that was the best thing ever because I could talk on the phone in my room. That was a personal phone.
And you just pick it up off the wall and.
No, it was like on my desk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. When you first got your car, like your first car, did it have a phone in it, like a phone call or like a car phone? Like, or have you ever seen?
No, I was just excited if it had a radio or a cassette player because back in my day, you didn't have CD-ROMs or you didn't have a Pandora or Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
You just had whatever was on the car, and it wasn't. Now, when I was started working, there were these big mobile phones that were in a bag, in a phone bag.
Okay.
That you carried them.
Yeah.
That was the first mobile phones.
I got you.
It was like a phone in a bag, yeah.
Yeah.
But I never had one.
Okay.
But your dad might have. I'm not sure.
Okay. How have you seen phones evolve in your lifetime?
Well, they went from. I've seen the antique phones. You know, I've seen the party line phones, the private line phones. I've seen the little handheld phone, the back phones, and then after the back phones came the little foldable phones. What are they called?
Foldables, like folding phones.
Yeah, they were. They weren't smartphones, but they were just a phone, handheld phone, and then the smartphones. Yeah.
Yeah. How much easier has your life been because of smart devices and the advancements of technology?
Well,
or has it been?
It's been a lot easier, but I think back what I went through when I was in college. Like, there were no computers when I was in college. So if you had a paper to turn in, you had to find someone who knew how to type.
Mm-hmm.
And that had a typewriter at college because there were no computers.
Right.
And so occasionally you would see like posted in the hallways of the classrooms people who wanted to would offer typing services. So, you know, if I had a computer back then, I would use it probably for typing. I didn't know anything about the internet back then, so yeah.
When did you first get your first computer laptop, or when you had one?
Well, now, when your sister was born, I think we got one in 1997. It wasn't a laptop. It was like a house computer.
Desktop?
Yeah, it was a desktop. And we would let her do typing skills on it, like when she was 2 years old, and play ABC Mickey Mouse. And
yeah.
So that was the first introduction to computers, was like the desktop and you play games. And when I was teaching, my kids would play Oregon Trail. That was an old game. It was like
I played
the
that.
Floppy disk. Well, I don't know if it's the floppy disk what you call them, but they were.
It's the square.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had. Yeah, we were still using floppy disks when I was in kindergarten.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I had when I was teaching. Yeah, but they didn't have their laptops when I was teaching until my last few years. So.
Okay. So, how easy or how hard is it to manage, the new smart devices that you have?
It's easy for me if it's the kind I have, but when I try to go help my mom, most of the time I call you, Scout.
Okay.
Say, can you come help Mama fix her Alexa, or can you help Mom, with her iPad? But it's easy for me because I was a teacher and we had to use the smart board with the computer.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
All that stuff. So yeah, it was good.
Okay.
I remember when they first said we were getting a smart board, and I was like, no, I want to use my overhead projector. So anyway, which you don't know what that is probably,
I
but
do. I remember I had some teachers pull it in. I remember Mr. Taylor had one.
okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, technology has definitely changed from how you display things and
Right.
mhm,
Um.
slideshows.
Yeah. How else have smart devices helped you in your life?
Um, well, when I was in high school, you actually had to, when you did research, you actually had to have at least 5 or 6 sources, books.
Hmm.
Nothing was online.
Right.
So you couldn't just go type in what book you wanted to look at online, or you actually had to get the handheld source. How else? So I think it would be easier nowadays to do your papers and um, like when I need stuff now, I order it on Amazon or
Yeah.
so.
If you had it your way, would you go back to the way things were with no technology advancements, like more, I guess, simpler, or would you keep it the way it is and what it has become?
Well, I think there's a lot of pluses to technology because
Mm-hmm.
it has made life easier. Um, Appliances have digital things on them now. Of course, there are cons to it also. There's things on the internet you shouldn't be looking at for the young people that I worry about. And
Mm-hmm.
um, so it's all out there. You just have to make good choices. But I do think it's made life easier, and it's easier to communicate with your family. Like if we've got family in Raleigh or wherever, we can communicate with them. So
Okay.
yeah,
That answers my next question. Why or why not? You would have it, keep it, the
yeah.
pros and cons of it.
I would keep it because I would definitely keep it because it makes life easier. It's
Yeah,
like a tool. It makes life
I
easier.
got you.
Um, yeah, for family to stay connected to your family that doesn't live close by.
Right.
Um, just email,
Mm-hmm.
pay bills,
Right.
online banking,
Right.
um, lots of things.
Okay. Communication is a big part of our lives. New devices give us a lot of ways to communicate. One of them is social media. Um, how much have you enjoyed using social media, like Facebook or Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, stuff like that?
Well, this also goes back to staying connected to family because a lot of times they post pictures of cousins and stuff, but it's very addictive sometimes, social media.
Right.
Um, but I think it's good to stay connected with friends and family, like friends from high school. Um, they post events now on social media to help you be aware of what's coming up. Um, yeah, I'm on Facebook. Look me up. I post all my pictures of you, Scout.
Oh yeah, I know you do.
And he says, "Don't post that."
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You were talking about earlier about the internet. When the internet first came out, what were your initial thoughts of it? What did you think of it? Did you have a clue what it was, or?
If I had not been teaching, I definitely would not have a clue
Yeah.
because I had younger teachers who had been exposed to it before I came along, or after I was teaching, and they said, "Oh, you just Google it, or you just," they introduced me to Pinterest to get teaching ideas, and um, just being connected to the world, doing, um, having interviews with authors, like virtual things in the teaching area. Um, so yeah, internet, it gives you a lot of sources to choose from
Mhm.
when you're looking for ideas. If you don't know something, you just it's
Look
worth a
it.
good.
Yeah, it's worth a gig. That's right.
So,
That's right. Um, do you have any questions for me or for what we've been talking about today before we end it?
times have definitely changed.
Yeah.
So, there's so much out there. Um, Now you can get 100 channels on the TV, not just three. You know,
Right.
so yeah,
What were the channels you had?
12, 2, and 8.
Like what was on it?
Well, I just watched whatever my mom watched.
Yeah.
Like, um, The only day I really watched was on Saturday, because that's when the cartoons came in on Saturday. You look forward, because that's the only day you could watch cartoons. You didn't have Nickelodeon and Elmo back then.
No,
No, you only had cartoons on Saturday. That was it.
I got you. Well, thank you so much, Mom, for letting me interview you.
No, I'm so glad you
You've
did.
been awesome, and I look forward to the next one.
Okay.
So, thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.